What is going on? Hi, welcome, everybody. Welcome. Did you guys, yo, we are literally in the age of an era. We have the return of Ashley Trash uh, Box Darby. And no, I don't want to hear anybody saying, woo, we have so much to get into. Let's see. Who wants to start? You know what? I'm the only one here, so I guess I'll start. Um, let's see. Where should we start, right? Hey, what's up, QK? Hey, Minerva. Hey, everybody. What's going on? Listen, Candy got checked. Let me tell y'all something. We're going to argue today because let me tell you something. I'm over the debate of Candace and Mia. Mia actually, sorry guys, my face is breaking out. It's really bothering me. Mia is actually like, she's back on my good list. Her and Candace actually moved on from that nonsense surprisingly fast. And I said, okay, Mia, you can hang with it, but I know I talk trash about Mia, but y'all swear I don't like her. I actually like Mia, right? But I see that what happened was it was Ashley. How can y'all say that Candace got checked? How can you say that Ashley is a horrible human being? And I don't care whether y'all like Candace or don't like Candace. It doesn't have anything to do with Candace. This is the same mess she did in season 1 and 2 and 3, and not with Candace, but with Karen, but with Robin, but with everybody. Y'all, we all gonna have to talk, right? We are just listen, KB. Thank you. It is always Ashley Forehead Darby. And for the fact that you guys are saying Candace got, and also who did Candace get checked by? Can someone tell me who Candace got checked? Who did Candace get checked by? Because you know the funny thing is, in that moment with Mia and when they were at the house, everybody was genuinely concerned about Mia and her feelings and how things were landing. Everybody was. Even Giselle, when Candace went to go be like, oh, let me tell you what happened. And Giselle was like, you need to calm that down. Everybody except for Ashley. Ashley was sitting there because I was watching her. She was sitting there looking down on everybody in the room, including Mia, but also sitting there. She didn't give a damn about Mia. So she was actually looking down on Mia and everybody else in the room. She was only standing there so she could have more ammunition and shit to throw out at Candace. Y'all, we are going to have to get into this conversation. And I don't care if nobody likes it. We need to talk about Ashley Colorist Darby. And wait, here's the thing. People can be colorist and not be aware of their unconscious bias. I don't care what y'all say. I see it in her eyes and I've seen it before. Ashley is well aware of her colorist privilege. She's well aware of what her complexion in that group and in life gets her aware with, and she stands in that privilege. She is well aware of what she does. She is aware, because if you think about that dinner, she was the one acting a fool. She was the one, for lack of better words, and we're going to get into it, acting like for lack of better words, but how she was looking as a ghetto ratchet mess, cursing, raising up a ruckus, embarrassing everyone. But she knows no matter what she does, Candace is going to get blamed for it. And she stands in that privilege. She knows no matter what, Candace is going to be the one that gets blamed for getting loud and embarrassing them and do it. She knows, y'all, I don't care. I've seen enough colorist people in my life to know a colorist when I see one. I've seen enough in my life to know a colorist when I see one. Noun, right? She actually didn't exactly. Kyra, listen, Kyra. Is this Kyra or Kaya? Kaya, is this Kaya? All right, I'm dropping the link for Kaya. Hold on. For Kaya. Hold on really quick. Hello? Hey.
Hi.
You guys, we finally have Mel. Well, not finally. It's my fault that he's late. Don't make it seem like it's my fault. I came on late. Y'all know, whatever. Mel's here. Blame me because it was my fault. Welcome, Mel, and thank you for joining the chat, right?
Hey,
Listen,
how you doing?
listen, this is Kyra. Kyra, what's up? Let's see. I knew it was my girl. What's up, Kaya?
Hi, give me 1 second. Turn off my TV and put my headphones in. But it has to be hot.
Listen, we coming in hot. Mel, we were just talking about Ashley Colorist Darby's back. And listen, y'all can fight me in the comments, but like, comment, and subscribe. If you give a dislike, right? But y'all can fight me in the comments. But let me tell y'all, I know a colorist. When I see it, I know the dog whistles. Ashley is a colorist, and she is well aware of her privilege that the skin color gets it. Candace will be blamed for everything. And you know what? This scene was oddly reminiscent of the scene with Candace's mom, at Candace's mom house. Ashley was trying everything she could, and I'll give it to Candace. She was, yeah, maybe she took a Xanax or something. She was eating her oysters. She was drinking her Moscow Mule. She was minding her goddamn business. She was staying unusually calm, right? And Ashley was picking with her. First, she tried to be like, "Oh, your husband's controlling you." That didn't work. Then it moved into, "Oh, well, you're doing this." That didn't work. Then it looking to go get your head. Then that didn't work. Then it moved into, "Bitch, you ain't never been straight." Like the way, and that's another thing, the way Ashley moves in and out of her blocks, because she was picking. I know when someone is picking, trying to get a reaction. And then just like with her mom's house, she got a reaction. But the thing is, Candace still didn't blow up as much as she could have or should have. And Ashley went for the jugular and then pick, and then been like, "Oh my God, you're so uncivilized. What are you doing? You're so aggressive." And then the thing is, Giselle comes in and always plays Captain Save-A-Ho with Ashley. But the thing is, that's because Giselle sees herself in Ashley. Oddly enough, Ashley don't see shit between her and Giselle. She literally looks like we are not the same. So it's really funny that Giselle's so protective of Ashley because she sees a baby Giselle. And Ashley is like, we are not the same. Listen, we're about to get into this thing, but I just want to say, I think Ashley looks down on Black people. All Black people. That's why she got into it with G. I don't even know what is going on, but that's why she got into it with G. But y'all, go ahead, God, y'all. Listen, so Mel, why don't you start with what your highlights was of the episode? Then we're gonna go to Kaya. Then I'll take it away. All right. So I'm gonna go off camera and let me know what y'all take it away, Mel. Take it away.
All righty. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let me get my brain together. First of all, hi Kai, how you doing?
Hi, I'm well, Mel. How about you?
I's doing wonderful, wonderful, wonderful on this Sunday, honey. I'm doing great.
I'm
Well,
doing good too.
oh, okay, okay, thank you. Well, you know what? I think that for me, which you brought up some good points, and I'm trying to get my brain together again. You know, this has been a wild Sunday, but it's been great. Um, for me, it was we can definitely talk about the colorism, but I was just talking to a friend of mine. I was saying the most hysterical moment of the show for me was that here's Robin and Giselle hobbling in literally into the building, and the woman who she pretty much dragged or sort of what can I say, dubious and up, you know, just was sneaky with Wendy. She wanted her to cater to her injury. That was funny to me. That part was very funny, and she was sincerely wanting her to accommodate her. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, you told the woman that you didn't want to show up at the house. I must have missed something why she did show up. And then when she showed up, you want her to cater to you. So that for me was very funny. So that was a very funny scene that
Well,
Giselle.
hold on now. Let's talk about that. Kaya, weigh in on that scene because I agree with you. That was a weird scene in the fact that I think not Ashley, Giselle and Robin are so used to everyone kind of bowing down to them. Everybody does it, even Candace, right? That when Wendy, they try to do that to them, and Wendy's like, "I ain't got nothing for you," right? Which is
Mhm.
like, "Oh, where's the bathroom?" And Wendy was like, "I don't know. Is there a bathroom here?" And but here's the thing.
That was
Infuriates
great.
Robin. It infuriates her. Giselle handles it a little better. So Giselle just gets kind of like passive aggressive the next day, right? So she handles it a little bit better, but Robin gets infuriated. Their mean girl tendencies come out. Kaya, what did you think of that scene?
I think it was hilarious. Obviously, they showed up because they needed their money for that episode. I mean, we're not gonna, we're not watching the show, but they were miserable, miserable people. Which I think colorism. I think it's funny that people were saying that Candace came into the house hyped and like in a terrible mood. When like we literally see these two people like walk in and just miserable. As soon as Robin got into that room, she's already looking for a hotel. And my thing is, okay, you can still show up to the vacation and you guys have already just gotten a hotel close to the place, but instead, like you were saying, they still thought there would be a power move to get there late and think they were still going to have good rooms.
Yeah, I thought that was, but you see what I mean? I missed something. I must have missed something, and this has been a whirlwind episode because I only watched it one time today. But did I miss when they agreed to come? Because the last time I remember, they
No.
were. So did we miss that, or did they just?
Oh, wait.
Oh
There's a
no, they
flashback
said they were
because
doing.
Colors actually called them. Colors actually called them in the flashback about where they were and if they were coming.
Okay,
So
okay.
Mel, I think they, but to your point, Mel, I think they were doing a power move, where they thought that they were going to pop up and throw her trip in disarray, and everybody's scrambling like Mama's home, right? And Wendy was like, "Okay, well, y'all have the twin beds, the bunk beds up top.
Mhm.
Y'all be easy out in these
Well,
streets." And they
well, you know
moved
what?
to.
And they won't be bullying anybody out the best bedroom in this situation. I think that they did with Candace. They took the gas and say, "No, you're going to move here." That wasn't happening this time. So just a very funny scene. I think also the
Yes.
fact that there was no ingredients there for them to be in a power position. Nobody really needed them for drama. Nobody needed them for anything. Everything was happening independent of them. So they kind of knew that, you know what, we ain't bringing that into the scene. So she let them know, listen, we don't need you here. We don't need you for any ingredients. You did everything at the beginning of the season. You're dried up. We don't need you here. So if you're here, you won't be accommodated. So that was
Right.
pretty cool.
But to the point, Mel, and also to you, Kaya, I think I like Wendy's energy on this thing, but I think that they get that treatment whether they're in a power position or not. Do you see them? That's when it first occurred to me. Everybody does kind of kiss their butt and run around, and we always talk about Giselle like she's the resident mean girl, but Robin has a little bit of
Yes,
hubris.
she's showing. She's
You see what
showing
I'm
it
saying?
out now.
And birds of a feather. You got, and here's the thing. I like Robin. I'll say this cast, besides Ashley, colorist Darby, right? I like the whole cast, right? And Ashley, when she was putting on that fake face being a like mother hen, Ashley became bearable. But now that her mask fall, I'm back to like whatever. But for the most part, the cast is a pretty likable cast. So I say this with like Robin's cool, but her hubris is showing. Her hubris is showing, just like
I,
Giselle. Let's see why they're friends.
I think it was always showing in a sense because again, as I said, I need to message you because I don't have a channel yet, but there's a discussion that I think really needs to be had about generational wealth and colorism on this Potomac show because it's just a very much so like a concentrated view on like the Black community in this aspect. But Robin always was kind of like a little weird about Candace's mom paying for everything. As you remember a while back, Robin said that she also kind of grew up like Candace. But we see that didn't last for long because the house foreclosed and all that kind of stuff. So if you didn't have a safety net and your home got foreclosed on, it means you weren't exactly like Candace. And then now with Wendy now it's education because Robin came in talking about her education, working in like public relations and all that kind of stuff, and now that talk has disappeared. Now I don't really know what the gumption of Robin is, and so now you have Candace who like it's artsy, also going back to school, also, as she said, has a similar background to her, but is making further moves in that sense. And then you have Wendy, who has her own career and has, a very, very substantial resume. And they're both darker skinned women. And
That's
so I
right.
feel like in this case, we've never had this kind of focus where there are two darker skinned women for her to really go at. And now that they're there, it's interesting to see how Robin's coming out now, separate from Giselle. It started off from Giselle, but now we see her like pushing this issue with Wendy even more than we see Giselle pushing the issue with Wendy.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And I don't buy that she was so. I mean, she met the woman, I believe, last year. So I don't think that she was the deepest friend. I think what you said, Kara, is absolutely right. I think that, we see more of who Robin is. I think that, yeah. But the thing that I love about Wendy, she's not bothered. I mean, she's a beautiful lady. She reads them every time, and she keeps it moving. So,
You know
yeah.
what though? I have to say with you guys, I disagree with you guys' point about the Robin thing. I actually think that Robin is being an Aries and being in her feelings. I think that Robin did feel really close to Wendy, as close as you
Oh,
can
okay.
feel to someone that you've known for a year, right? I didn't
Mhm.
say it was Giselle level, but I do remember that she bonded with Wendy. The kids played together. They were always together. And when Wendy, and again, that does not take away from the fact that Robin thought that she could clown Wendy and Wendy was just supposed to take it. I get it.
Mhm.
I get it. I get it. But I do really think that Robin is operating from a place of hurt and
So
anger.
you think authentically she really has been wounded by Wendy?
Yeah, but again, I think she's being irrational, but I do think she's operating from a place of hurt. It's irrational to think you're going to clown someone and bully someone and they're going to take it,
I know that's
especially
right.
rumors. You know
But
what I'm saying?
yes,
That's
I
but I
true.
just
guess in this point, it's not necessary to us. It's irrational, but to her and like, some of my point is like she thinks she has the right to do so. Because my thing is like Giselle has disrespected her, said some crazy thing, and she's never been as her like when Giselle essentially like ruined her like what is it like house
yeah.
opening for like the rental property, and she came in and started that storm with the one who left. She let that fly. She was a little upset and let that fly right on by.
That's right.
She did. She
That's
did. No, so
true.
let's talk about this, right? Because I took a few notes. Let me pull my notes.
Oh,
Well, that was a good scene. Let me see if there's anything in the scene that we're forgetting to ring out, right? Let's see. Okay, so let's talk about the argument, right? Everybody got over the argument surprisingly quick, and that's when I said, okay, I know I'm always on Mia's ass, right? But that's when I said, you know what, Mia, you have what it takes to be a housewife because you moved on quick. It's not even the drama, the thing that gets me. The drama does get me, but if you're on it the next week, that's when I'm like, all right, everybody sit down. G was able, is his name G? It's G, right? G.
I don't know.
that's his nickname. I think his
His
name is Gordon, and we
husband,
call him Jay.
yeah,
Mr. Gordon.
Mia's
Oh Lord.
husband was able to calm her down. They
Mm-hmm.
came to the thing. Mia was like, all right, fine, let's get over it. And I was like pretty impressed that in the van, even though, the producers probably made them sit right across from each other,
Mm-hmm.
they
I
laughed, they
know.
got along. G was like pounding with Candace. And I said, okay, fine, 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 fine. Which leads me to believe everyone that was dragging Candace all up and down and through these Twitter streets last week. If Mia is not that upset, then why, pray tell,
It's
are
everybody
y'all?
else. That's
You know
right.
Yes.
what I'm saying? Have
Come
Mia
on.
in the shower with the water flowing over her head going, why? I even would have been like, damn, Candace, go apologize. But Mia got over it. She was like, all right, fine, fine, fine. F you too. And she moved on. And I said, okay, good for you, Mia. And second of all, I hope all y'all feel stupid dragging Candace
But
because
I was
people
going to
would
say,
snap with her.
Lisa, do you think that's because she's resilient because of all the abuse she's been through? I was watching a YouTube thing of her. I just found randomly, and she was saying that she was also addicted to
Yeah.
opioids. Okay, thank you, Miss Kyra. So she has not. She's had a rougher life than she's even talked about on the show. And so I love you made that point because I think that. Listen, I the thing. Okay, I want to say this. I have to say this. I don't have a strong issue with me. I think I don't see her. You know how people say I see her. I really don't see her. She to me, I mean, she gives me some things that you really can't say politically correct because she has a very dramatic look, and I love that look. And we in the community we have people who have these features and looks. So listen, I'm not going there. I'm just going to say she gives me life. Miss Tisa, she gives me life. So I like her look, but her
So
personality.
my bestie is over here cracking up in the background. She heard you.
Okay,
She just
okay,
fell
okay,
out.
okay,
She
okay,
just fell
okay,
out. You tickled her.
okay,
Go
okay.
on. You're just
But
like,
all I'm just gonna say is,
say
she gives me life with the look,
it.
but the personality has grown on me. I'll say that she picked the wrong person for me, and I'm biased because I actually love Candace.
Mhm.
As what you said, it was hit and miss for me. It was hard to really. Me, you have had a conversation about being a fan of Candace, so I won't have to go into that deep. But it's a struggle sometimes. But that being said, what you made a point about is true. She's resilient. She's very resilient. Does that mean that
Yes.
she's perfect? No.
Well, I have a
But
point.
go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, Miss.
I don't know if she's resilient or the fact is that
Mm.
like this is a storyline, and so like I feel like she used that moment. The light skinned women are rallying around her. Winnie's giving her an opportunity. Let me go ahead and tell the story that I have not told anyone, and the season's almost over. Why do we know about your mom's opioid? I mean, sorry, her drug addiction issues, her being in prison, and we don't know about yours because I saw the video of like her talking about like her issues.
That's
Why do
right.
we not talk about yours before we start talking about your mother's? So for me personally, I get that struggle. I totally respect it and mental health and all that stuff, which is great. I find it from her and the character of her. I don't know her in real life. In the character of her, I find it disingenuous.
Yeah, but you know what's so funny too, and I want to just say this real quick about that scene, and you're right about that. Well, I have conflicting, and somebody said this in the chat about Ashley. So when she was there, Ashley, God help her, every chance she can get. We used to call it "you don't miss a trick." Basically, when somebody doesn't miss opportunity to take a low blow. So every time the girl was crying in her emotions, or like you said, Miss Kyra, performing, uh, 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 the peanut gallery was Ashley. She was like, "Oh, that's what she does. She always do that." I'm like, "Girl, this is not about you. Stop it." And then when she at the table, why in the hell would anybody listen to anything she has to say? What question is valid from this woman? She's not a part of this season. So I mean, but anyway, I don't want to switch it over. But Ashley was in that scene, what you was talking about, and she was like, "Oh, that's what she does." When as Mia was having her emotions, I'm thinking, "Girl, nobody's talking to
at
you."
her. But look
Yeah,
at
the look on her
her.
face, the
But you guys,
pleasure.
with pleasure, but also she was even looking down on Mia. Ashley thinks that she is better.
Of
Listen,
course. Oh yeah.
y'all can in the comments, y'all
Uh-oh.
can be
Okay,
like,
go
oh,
ahead.
blah 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 blah. I'm telling y'all, I see it in her eyes. It's almost like the way you can look at a racist and a dog whistle, and you'd be like, I'm
That's
telling you,
right.
you
I
might not
like this
see it,
comment
but
by what is it? Used to be the sweetheart girl. She said Ashley inserts her forehead into everything. Honey, she ain't lying.
yes,
Yeah, because it's
listen,
just back to that scene in the sense of also like this whole thing of like, don't Karen, let anyone bring you back down to that and da da da. I'm like, she entered into this. Is I
Yeah,
totally understand it if Candace is just picking at her or like it was just like nonsensical. But my whole thing is kind of like, you see, I was make this point. Mia purposely let this drag on because when Giselle had an issue with Mia about the text that Mia sent, and Giselle talked to her about it, she said noted and kept it moving. But Candace, you keep wanting to stand by what you're saying,
well,
and
let,
all
also
let,
you see,
right. Okay.
well, hold on, Kaya, hold on.
oh,
Listen, and I don't believe I'm saying that, but let me just play devil's advocate.
okay, devil's
The
advocate.
fact that Mia tried to come for Candace and Candace hit back with a sledgehammer.
Mm.
Here's the thing. Mia's reads are weak and she can't hang with Candace, but Candace did hurt her little feelings. When she literally got on her phone and tried to act like she was fake calling her friend, and like, hello, you have reached Verizon. Please enter your please
You
enter
know,
your
yeah, I
password.
know.
She literally had to pretend like somebody was on the phone
That
to leave
somebody
that
cared,
phone
right?
on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
thing. Now
No,
listen,
okay, you're right. I'm not talking about
she
Candace's
had her.
response.
She had her. She had her.
I'm not talking about Candace's response. I'm mostly talking
Okay.
about the way in which it kept engaging because everyone's like, well, Candace took it too far, and I do think there's moments where Candace could have pulled back, but the initial moment of them having they were having a normal conversation to me in the bedroom, and Mia, again, as we said last week, she stood by what she said.
Kaya make a good
You
point.
brought up a little
So
bunch of
that's not the
comments
first.
and you're
Yeah,
saying it again.
she.
So then, as I said, where do we just go from here? Because when Giselle brought up an issue to her, she said noted. So she could have
That's
said
right.
noted to Candace, and Candace still could have been upset and just let Candace have it on her own. But instead, Mia kept no, it was so busy, and then trying to throw the shade into like, well, just as a CEO. So my thing is like they both engaged into it, and one, just has the mouth of I don't even know. Just
Yeah,
went
but
there.
you know what, Tisa,
Yeah.
that's a good point. I would just say this. So for the two ladies on the panel, this is not the first time that Mia's been dragged. Is what I'm thinking Miss Kaya is saying, and every other
Yes.
time she's been literally dragged beyond your mama is whatever that terrible. She has said that she stood there, took it, she didn't cry. She said, "Okay, I understand. I was wrong in the situation. I'm sorry about this, sorry about that. Here we go." So it is questionable. Okay,
Again,
yes, go
the
ahead.
whole thing about the dragging thing, it is, but the thing is, Mia strikes me as someone that has a lot of mental armor. This is one of the things that makes Candace so intelligent, right?
Okay.
Candace saw through all her shenanigans and saw where her insecurity lied. Her feet, her handsome ass, right? I'm being and
I mean,
again,
yes.
I honestly believe that at that time when Candace said your mama's low budget, I will stand by it. I think that she was just doing a clap back, but I
Mhm.
think she saw that glimmer and she was like, I don't know why this hurt you, but it did. Your mama's low budget. And then she just went in deeper and started massaging
Yeah.
it and being like, your mom. Now, again, that was not Candace's finest hour. She was being cruel, right? But that said, I understand too, and I stand by this. Mia, when Candace told her, but I found what you said cruel. Mia said, and I don't care. It was because I'm a CEO. And I said, okay, well then, bitch, it's game on. It's that's what we doing. It's game on. It's game on. It's just the fact that Candace beat her at her own game. You know what? I wanted to ask you, Mel, what did you think about when they were in the van and they were, Candace and G started, pounding, clapping hands. Chris was this and that. And Mia genuinely seemed like she was kind of over, or not over it, but again, to your point, Mia's resilient. Her whole life, she's had to keep it pushing, right? So Mia keeps it pushing. What did you think about the whole thing in the van where they were like, getting a little rowdy, getting a little, off colored, and then Giselle, Robin was just over the whole day. She was just mad.
Mm-hmm.
And I
That
don't
was
believe it
funny.
because it was that time of the month, right? I think she was just throwing a temper tantrum. But what do you think about Giselle and Karen kind of reuniting so they could
Mm-hmm.
look down on everybody in the fan? I thought that was interesting, but go on.
Well, I mean, okay, so the band was an interesting scene altogether because here you have all these people who had a big old nuclear blow up, and they were sitting within a couple of inches away from each other, and nothing happened. I just think that sometimes with the shows itself, I'm going to be honest, that's in my opinion. I think sometimes it shows real life that a lot of times you can have an issue with somebody you're not always on because it can be exhausting. You may not like them, but you may have to sit. I've sat close to, listen, I've talked to people who I can't stand, and I've done that. Well, anyway, I've talked to people, and sometimes you don't always have to be on all the time. I think that's sort of what happened between me and Candace. And with Giselle and with Karen, I just think they was falling back into to something familiar. I think that they're two ladies of a certain age, and again, very diva, these divas. I think of them as divas, no matter what people think about each of them. They divas, and they get together and they get a chance to have fun and cut up and read. Now, will they have a genuine friendship? I don't know, but it was cute. You know what, Tisa? It was a couple of years ago when she wasn't feeling Charisse, and they were on the
Yes.
field. Okay, thank you. And the girl was like, well, they still wasn't feeling each other. She said, well, look at Charisse. Is her hair messed up? She said, her hair always messed up. Whatever she said, So I think that the two ladies, they two blonde ladies who, who just like to cut up and have and read and be messy and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I thought to your point, I thought it was very, very interesting. Remember I said last week, that's why you don't get involved in family squabbles. And
Mm-hmm.
Giselle and Karen are family. And Candace is very smart. She cannot stand Karen, but she never really goes against Karen for the benefit of Giselle. She plays it neutral because she knows eventually, like all family, they're going to be on the good thing and then they're going to direct their thing at them. Now, I will say to QK, what's up, QK? And to a lot of people in the trap saying that I'm just blinded by my hate toward Ashley, let me tell y'all, just because y'all don't believe it doesn't mean it's true. You guys can have your opinion. If
Oh
you
gosh.
guys do not see a colorist theme going on with Ashley, you guys are overlooking something. And just because you guys don't see it, you really need to actually take this on board. This is one of the ways colorism manifests. I don't think, if you guys think that this is a Dave Chappelle type where somebody's like, hey, brown skin inward, get over here, lick my shoes. That's not the way it goes. It's a privilege where the same way you can walk into the Piggly Wiggly and there'll be a Karen behind the counter calling store security on you and then playing victim. It's the same way somebody that we're all supposed to be in the same, but will still exercise that same privilege. To the people that that have experienced colorism or saw people they love experience colorism, I'm telling you, you guys, and I don't mean to say that you guys can't, you guys need to take it on board because it is there. Mia, listen, I'm skeptical with Mia. I don't think that Mia, most people that were raised by a mom that's darker than them are not colorist. I mean it. It's like I've never really seen that, but maybe it could
Unless
have.
the mom is colorist.
Yeah, but then that's more
No.
like internalized
Mm-hmm.
hate. Do you know what I'm saying? Because but I get your point, Kaya, right? So there's different shades, just like there's different shades about racism. But so Kaya, yes, this is a separate conversation. I take on board. I take that, Kaya. I receive that. But I'm telling you guys in the comments, being like, she's not. You guys need to receive what people are telling, because if there's a lot of people that's telling you, you guys, these are dog whistles. This is as clear as day, and all you have going for you is saying, but I like Ashley. She has good reads. No, she was just being that. You guys just take it on board. Just play with the thought. Play with the thought before you say it's not. Let's wait till
Yeah,
the end of the season. That's all I'm saying.
You think that some of these kind of feelings that Ashley has is coming from Michael, that he's sort of prepping up and pushing it out there to say these
No,
things? Or
I think that, listen, Michael talked about Ashley's mom like she was street trash. And I
Mhm.
remember when she was having that, I was getting when she said, "I don't want to have a baby with you because it might turn out the way your mom and her
Man.
family." It was giving me like, you think like my family's like gutter street cats. And
Yeah.
honestly, even the way Michael talks to the woman, I do think that Michael Darby is racist. I know a lot of people, you gotta be burning a cross on the front yard to get the racist. I think that he is a casual racist.
Absolutely.
Michael
And
called Candace a criminal.
listen, I think that he is and trigger word to use, he's a casual racist. I do believe that when somebody is involved racist and you are a person of color, put it like this. I believe that when two people are together and you don't understand why they're together, it's because that they agree, they align on certain thoughts. Just like we didn't see the nexus between Robin and Giselle, and now we see they are lock and step, right? I think that a lot of the ways that Michael looks at certain Black people, I think Ashley does too, and I think that Ashley thinks that she's better than. And I think that Ashley, I think one of the panelists brought it up. I don't know if it was you, Kaya, or it might have been Judge of Justice. I forget who it was. Maybe it was. Oh, I'm forgetting her name. It'll come back to me. I'll give you a shout out. But I remember, and it might have been you, Kaya, said that Ashley sees it as the best of both worlds, right? When she's in
It'll come
white
back
room,
to me.
and I know girls like this. Yeah, I know girls like this. Ashley thinks that when she's in white rooms, she's a little spicy. She's exotic. Oh, look at your
Yeah. Oh,
hair.
I did say that. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I know. Yeah.
You guys make your point again. Make that point
I
because
know
you made
she
it really well.
understands because she truly does. Because even if you look at the way that Michael interacts with Giselle and how you were saying that Ashley looks down at Giselle, Michael never looks comfortable around Giselle, even though Giselle's a lighter skinned, lighter eyed Black woman. He never looks interested in what's going on with Giselle, whatever like that. So I do find it interesting that Ashley's like, okay, you are now almost somewhat the same bracket as me, but I understand my privilege as a biracial woman, and we don't even know what those mixes are because we still haven't seen the father or whatever that situation is. But she understands because Michael is very much so clear about it. He's clear about calling Candace a criminal when, like, because also at that dinner table, the reason why she flipped it so quick to Mia was because Chris is about to go off about the reason why they have a problem with Michael, because they were involved with all the HR stuff about Michael touching people when he wasn't supposed to. I know she's light and fun and everything like that, but that part I will never get over. That's the reason why Michael has an issue with the Dillards or the Bassets, whatever you want to call them, because they sit strong and like, I've been called to HR because of your husband. I've seen your husband check someone and they look at me and looking mortified. That's the reason why they have an issue. And that's how Ashley flipped that so quick and start talking about Monique and Mia all of a sudden. Because you were talking about your husband. How are we talking about your husband? And now all of a sudden we're talking about a fight that A, you weren't there for. And then B, the second fight, you didn't even see half of it because half of it was upstairs.
Exactly.
But anyway, yeah, she understands the best of both worlds of kind of like, I know that I will never stand on the top of the totem pole in the white face because white people, you're biracial. You can never take on the identity of whiteness inside whiteness.
But to your point, I don't think she wants to. I think she likes being the exotic one. I think when she does her like offbeat twerking and like her TikTok cheerleader moves, to us we're just like, girl, back. But in a room full of people that move like Michael Darby, they're like, like I think she delights in the fact
but
that
see, I think that's not fair because that means she has the option. When the fact is, white people don't give biracial or multiracial people the option to claim whiteness. Black people give biracial and multiracial people the option to claim blackness. So she will never have the option to claim whiteness.
No, okay, so Kaya, I get what you're saying. I know we're gonna get off the subject in a second before y'all start going crazy in the comments, but I will say, like, you know, here's the thing though. You know, in mixed company, like the most powerful thing you can do is actually, if you are fine embracing being the spicy, exotic one, there's a lot of power in that. I don't think she wants to be like, oh no, I want to be considered white. No, she wants to be the spicy one, which is fine. She likes that power, and it's fine, right? But over to the other side, she definitely looks down on other. And to Mel's point, this is a good point, Mel. Is it because Michael downs her so much that she started, but I'm not, what is it, that girl that was on Dr. Phil's? I told my mom I would never be like those other Negroes, like what was that girl that was on Dr. Phil's?
Was she the dark-skinned girl and who claimed her white? She was white?
Yes, that was y'all had to watch Dr. Phil. That was the funniest episode. She was trolling Dr. Phil because I guess she was
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
on TV, so she was trolling Dr. Phil. But she was saying she had a relaxer in her hair, and people in the audience was like, "But your hair is not even straight," and she's like, "No, this is my natural texture." She was trolling,
Yeah, I remember
but she.
that.
I told my mom I would not, and then she was walking down the Hollywood thing, be like, "Ooh, black people, I should cross the street."
Oh,
That
wow.
no, she was trolling though. She was actually really funny. She was trolling, and she just wanted to
Wow.
be on TV. And she was trolling like Little Nas X trolls. But to that point, but to that point, but listen, let's get into the thing. Now, here's the thing. Let's start with the lighthearted stuff with the episode, and then we'll start reading some comments and like start. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna read the comments after we get to the heart of it, and then we can take turns answering the comments, right? So let's start with the lighthearted stuff, right? So the guys are sending the women shots. And Ashley's like, "Ooh, Giselle, there's a single man." Now, let me tell you something, right? I have certain girlfriends that when I was single, I would let them hook me up with people. And I had certain girlfriends, I was like, "I love you, but you ain't got no goddamn sense. Don't you ever give anyone a reference because I already know you're gonna hook me up with like a mess, like
YOLO.
I'm sitting across the table, and yeah, they own like a house in Hollywood Hills, but they're just like, yeah, I just got out of rehab 45 days ago, but I'm doing pretty well. It's like whoever you set me up with is gonna be a mess on some way, shape, or form. Like, they seem nice, they seem this, and you're like, oh, so what are you into? And they're just like, nothing really. I haven't worked in 45 years. Oh, really? Yeah,
Mhm.
I just like living on the street. I just
No,
know they're
no,
gonna hook me
no.
up with the best, right? There's just some friends you just don't trust their judgment in relationships, or even picking out trash. Their meter is just off.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those friends, right? So the fact that Ashley was telling me this guy's looking, I already know, girl, tell him to look that way, right? And Giselle, she's just like, maybe she's gonna get a Michael Darby. Um, okay, good luck with that, because Giselle also did say, "Where's my Simon?" And I was just like, no discernment. And that's the problem, no discernment, right? So the guy sent that, so then the wives are like, "Are you kidding me? Like, where's our drinks?" Right? So then everybody's cracking up. I thought it was funny that when the guys were sending drinks, Chris put his arm around Candace, like, go look away. This is mine right here, right? He knew what they were looking for, right? So then Wendy, because Wendy is, I like Wendy is a girl's girl. I'll say that. She's always worried about how the other women in the situation must feel and wives being respected. Wendy is a girl's girl. So Wendy was like, no, you have to, no, send those girls whatever they want, trying to make the women feel better, right? And then Karen goes over, and Karen's like, "No, you're gonna make up. Blah, you don't send it." And I said, "You know what? I love Karen, and Karen looks great for her age, but sometimes I don't think Karen actually realizes her age. Karen, you are a very, very beautiful, attractive, older woman. But when nobody sending you shots at that table, nobody was sending you shots. But Karen still acts like she's that 20-year-old that like men are trying to seduce. And don't me wrong, Karen's gorgeous, but there comes a time where they were maybe sending shots to Ashley or to Giselle, even, or whatever. Even the way, remember that season when Karen and Michael got in an argument because she was like, "Ray's gonna be so mad that there was men in the house and this and that." You and Ray have aged out of that thing that there's something funny going on in the laundry room or behind the thing. I don't know. I
That's
just think
right.
it's really charming the way they still look at each other as 20 in their prime. And when Michael came into the house, let's forget that Michael doesn't look like Gollum, right? Let's just imagine he doesn't have leprosy, right? Michael came into the house. He's just like everyone, he's like, "Yeah, who wants Ashley? Get out the way, football head. Who is that?" And he's, making eyes at Karen Huger. That just cracked me up. And I was like, "Karen, what, nobody sending shots to you?" But she was telling them how disrespectful it was. But anyway, what did y'all think about Karen? And the thing, oh, hold on really quick. Y'all, I got to answer this. Hold on, you guys. I'll mute my mic.
Karen was funny, like she said. She was hysterical. I think those guys and those ladies were just sort of doing a stunt a little bit. It didn't seem, why would they be at separate table at the same restaurant? That seemed a little crazy.
Yeah, I mean, because I find it so ironic. Which, well, if this is true, I found it cute that like it seemed like they were on a couple's night out, but the boys were together and the women were together, but like you can still leave with your partner. I thought that was adorable. But I was like, how dare you send a table of shots to someone else and not your wife across the way?
I know, that was crazy.
But yeah, no, but Karen was. I think Karen was acting in her in her bag. She's like, girls, I'm about to get you a YSL or Chanel or something out of this. They sent us shots. I'm gonna get you a purse out of this. I mean,
How was she gonna
it was
do
a fun marketing.
anything? How is somebody gonna walk up to your man in the restaurant like y'all drinking and be like, you buy her you guys help? Please, my man be like, I'll buy her a Maybach. And the next step we go home, get the fuck out of here. Anyway, what was that girl talking about? Right? It's like, sure, whatever you want. Well, sure. Yes, ma'am. We're gonna buy her a YSL. We're gonna take her to the Hermes store. Yes, yes, yes. Now, hold on really quick. Oh, like I'm saying, right? Okay, so let's get to the main event. Mel, start us off. What was okay? Take us to the main. Where's your mind at? We're in the restaurant. We're chilling. The shots happen. Where's your mind at?
Well, I mean, we had to ride in the car, which I thought was entertaining. You know, it wasn't too crazy. It was weird. You know, that it wasn't all of each other. Then we get to the tag team that what does Karen always say? You know, the gangbang. She always use that word, the gangbang, with Robin, and well, not Robin as much this time, but with Giselle and with Ashley. I didn't understand, and that's what I've always said to people. They always claim, not us, because we had a safe place for Candace over here, but everybody else always say, "Oh, Ashley, excuse me, oh, Candace is so obsessed with Ashley," and I just see it the other way. I feel like every time that Ashley is in the presence of Candace, she is bothered by her for some reason, and she has to poke. And as you just said, she has to poke and provoke her. And me and you talked about this offline. I just wish sometime that Candace would clock that and go, you know what? I'm not going to give it to you right now. I'm just going to. At a certain point, she did get that, but I don't want her husband to have to calm her down as a person who actually stands for Candace. I want her to be able to say, you know what, girl, I don't see you. I just don't see you. I know you're obsessed with me, that you want me to get triggered by you. But, you know, it is what it is. She was honest. She did say, you know, she called her a lot of things, which was pretty interesting. You know, it's like, oh, girl, she went in. And I think at some point, even though Ashley wanted to do it, she was prepared for that heat. I mean, that girl roasted her again. Candace roasted Ashley. But she did admit in that middle of that barrage that I think that I can't say the word. I never talked that way about women. She called a couple of names because you signed this paper and you were out to get me and this was your revenge and you're dirty. And, you know, I'm like, wow. So someone with the, you know, maybe she still does have feelings about the paper, I guess. I always thought that she just felt betrayed because she tried to respect somebody who doesn't deserve respect. Sometimes when you do that, it can leave us out tasting your mouth, say, damn, that person deserves respect. They don't deserve, you know, anything from me because they're not of quality. So I think that can sort of make you feel a certain way. And I think that's what happened. But, you know, it was what it was. She went off and it was messy and crazy. And that's what it was.
It was. I will say that, like, I heard, you know, and this episode made me realize, you know, I know the colorist conversation starts with Giselle and Robin and Ashley, but I don't think that they deserve to be grouped in with Ashley. Listen, colorism is a lot like racism. I think that, and I swear to God, I honestly believe this is true. I think that Robin and Giselle are not aware of their privilege with colorism. I do. For some reason, maybe because they were both raised in light skinned families. You know how, for those of you guys that aren't black, and those of y'all pretending like you don't know how things go in the black thing, you know, you can, with black people, you can have a lighter parent and a darker parent, and the child come out light skinned, right? Just like you have a lighter parent, darker parent, the child comes out dark skinned, right? Or light skinned. But Giselle and Robin all come from light skinned families. Do you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And I feel like if you do not see someone intimately you love affected by it, then it's somehow easy to be like, well, we all get picked on. Do you know what I'm saying? It's
That's
almost
right.
like if you ain't never been ugly and somebody trying to tell you the way like guys treat me this way because I'm ugly, and you're like, what are you talking about? I have the same thing. No, shut up and listen. You know,
Yeah.
if you're like thin and your heavier friend is trying to tell you no, but you don't understand, and you're like, no, but all got no, shut up and listen. Shut up and listen, right? So I don't think that Giselle and Robin are aware of their privilege. I don't. I don't.
Well,
Um,
I was going to say colorism does exist in our community, and I think that sometimes I tell people about this when they say, "Well, how?" I go, "Oh, look at this picture called School Days by Spike Lee. That's the beginning.
yes,
That will give you an idea." Because and when I think of that picture, I think of Giselle because it's
yes,
fraternities and light skinned ladies and more chocolate ladies in the college, hazing each other, doing things to each other. And I think of Giselle big time because she's a light skinned, beautiful woman. So I say,
mhm,
when you want to think about colorism between women and you want to think about this topic, look at School Days to begin with. But it does
yeah,
exist, and it could. And yes, you're saying it right. Yeah, some ladies say, you know what, but I'm not as dark as you are, and I'm more entitled to whatever. It happens, and it's true.
yes.
It's some footage and things out there.
Yeah, and I
Uh,
think that Ashley is firmly a thing. Now, again, I'm not forgiving Giselle and Robin because just like I would say to somebody that was a white picking on a black person or a person of color, right? Well, you need to educate yourself. Just because you don't know that this is a microaggression doesn't mean that it's cool. They do
That's
need to
right.
humble themselves and really. But I put Ashley after this episode in a different thing. Now, I will say this: I wish that Candace would have rose above it too. But someone cannot. Ashley was on a mission, and the funny thing is,
Yeah.
Ashley hate y'all talk about Ashley hates Candace, and she is like a dog with a bone. You signed a document legally against her. What else do you want? She wants to see Candace destroyed. She cannot let it go, and she is going to keep coming at Candace. The laughable thing is, Ashley must be sick right now because Candace is thriving. You can say what you want. Candace,
yes.
whether you like her
Okay.
or not, she is thriving. She got the acting,
She's
she got the
thriving.
singing, she is thriving, and Ashley wants to just like destroy her. It's not enough to get under her skin. It's not enough to break her. She wants to destroy her. Ashley hates
Okay.
Candace, and why? Because I think that Candace made a fair assessment about Ashley's relationship that I think
Well,
was closer to the truth, and she can't let it go. Kaya, what do you think of this?
let me have my like small little like spill of like the Candace versus Ashley jealousy situation. Who is jealous of Ashley? Ashley's only accomplishment, which Ashley said that Candace is the least accomplished there. Ashley's only accomplishment was like being Miss DC and the Miss USA circuit. And then she went to dog Candace for being Miss United States. One is
Hmm.
still a city, a district title, one is still a national title. Regardless of the prestige, you still didn't make it all the way through yours. Bottom line. Second, she also did that thing because she needed the money to go to school. Nothing wrong with that, but that's how she got to school. Apparently, that's what she wrote in her bio. I don't go this far, but this has really bothered me because this is something I've seen in real life, especially going to PWI. That I can't. It can't. The fact that Ashley has like a yoga apparel site that only has 5 shirts and that has not posted on Instagram for like the last 3 years, I can see why she would be mad at Candace because the fact is Ashley didn't start fighting for those babies until she saw how easy it was for Michael to kick her out of his home when he reminded that it was her home. The
Oh, that's
next
a good
season was
point.
the season. The next season is the season where she wants to start talking about children, and this is the reason why she's popping out so fast. Because as in the episode, she said he went to our closet, he took all of my dresses out, he put them on the couch, and says, "You are no longer welcome in my home," and they are still in that home. For someone who is Mother Nature, Mother Earth, I don't understand how. I get certain people have different lifestyles, but the way she is, moonlight and magic and all that kind of stuff, I find it surprising that you don't want a yard for your children. Why are you still essentially living in your husband's bachelor pad? That is his
That's right.
bachelor pad. So your life is clearly dictated by this man.
But what?
Candace is
So
doing fine.
mhm.
People
Yeah.
say that Candace, like I do want her to start playing this more a bit smarter. She does need to do that. But Candace has her music career, her acting career, has been getting her MBA, is very involved in charity and community, has been doing speaking engagements with Congress people, talking to like she is fine. She's very much so involved, and I think that's also
Mhm.
a bit of an issue that maybe Monique has. Maybe Candace doesn't have as much money as them, but she still has the independence and doing everything that she
Amen.
wants to do.
Amen.
And I
I
think
agree. Yeah.
that is a better power than you can ever
That's
have.
right.
Because I was
Yeah.
scrolling. Monique had that one song. For someone who came on the show talking about her being a rapper, I find it interesting that now it's been 2 years and you're not on the show anymore, and you're still engaged with Real House of Potomac, liking things about Candace, but you don't have an album yet, you don't have anything
Come on,
song yet, and
girl.
you're still stuck
That's
on your
right.
mommy stuff, which
That's
you weren't even
right.
trying to have a third child. But that's your biggest venture, something that you
That's
didn't even
right.
want to really put your all into.
That's right.
So
But
I so
I was going to say one thing too to both of you ladies, because this is the thing that I've always pondered, and I ask you all, and this is going up the subject a little bit. I remember this picture called "Mommy Dearest." This is going off the subject, but in that picture, Joan Crawford had adopted children to keep her career going. But so the idea was that a woman will bring in a child into her home so that it could better, you know, produce a better career, or whatever. Do we think that Ashley was cold-blooded enough to bring children into the world, into an unhealthy marriage, just so that she can feel more secure financially? Because that blows my mind. Yeah, okay. Because that would blow my mind.
I mean, it's a dumb plan, but people have had lots of dumb plans before, right? I will say one thing, and we'll come back to this. This is just so that Chris Bassett. Listen,
Yeah.
Chris loves
Yeah.
Candace a lot.
Yes, you do.
And she loves him, and I really, really like them together. And I really had to say, you know what? Nobody's perfect. Because Carla C said, I feel sorry for Chris, but Ashley started everything at the restaurant. They're all having a nice time until she dies. Yeah, big mouth. I completely agree with you, Carla, except for Chris, because KB hits what I'm thinking. And I'm going to explain in a second. KB said, Chris needs to be more united front with Candace in this group. He know they don't like his wife. Let me tell you something, right? No one is perfect. So I'll cut Chris slack because I think him and Candace are a good couple, right? But I will say Chris is good, right? But I don't think that Chris realizes how bad he makes his wife look when he tries to manhandle her and grab her like she's a little kid and take her off the table. I don't mean like he's manhandling, but I mean like when he's like, come on, come on, come on. It's like he doesn't realize that he's humiliating her in front of everyone. If I'm in the middle of going back and forth with someone, right?
Mhm.
And I get it. Because here's the thing I thought, well, what do I expect Chris to do? Because it's kind of like when Chris was back in and Ashley was like, yeah, mama's house. He was so intent on calming Candace down that Ashley was running off at the mouth. And the thing is, I said, well, what's Chris supposed to do? Because that's the trade-off. He respects women. So he's not going to be in Ashley's face doing all that. But the issue was, it would have been, why don't you think of a way to tell Candace you're disrespecting, I'm not Candace, tell Ashley you're disrespecting my house. You need to get out of my house. You're disrespecting my house right now. You need to get out. But put your effort into thinking a way to tell her without disrespecting her, you need to get the fuck out. That's where your energy should be going, right? Even at the table when Ashley was doing this, instead of directing all your energy to control Candace and calm her down, why wasn't your ass using that brain to be like, to figure out a way to respectfully check Ashley and consider a united front instead of Ashley's telling her to shut up, Giselle's telling her to shut up, Karen's telling her to shut up. Well, Karen wasn't, to be fair, Karen wasn't really in it, right?
Right.
Karen was, but Ashley, Giselle, all these people telling her to shut up, and then you got your road dog, your number one, your this being like, stop it, and trying to get you to, and then you get up and leave the table. Listen, I give it to Candace because I would have cursed Chris out. I would have just literally.
No, yes.
I would have found his
Yeah,
ass.
yeah.
There wouldn't have been no hugs. It would have been like I would have cursed. Actually, I would have been like, "Let's go. I'm not hungry anymore." And that car would have been on fire. The people at the stoplight would have saw me being like, yeah, literally, finger would have been. You just would have been like, "Oh my God, she is going crazy on that guy," right? I would have been cursing him out at the stoplight for embarrassing me. And the thing is, no one's perfect, and that's the trade-off I guess you get for a man that like respects women and was raised to stay out of women's business. He doesn't even know where to begin. He's just like, y'all take care of that because I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah,
you know.
I think Ashley really plays that well, and I do with Christine because Ashley, I feel like Chris should have had his antenna up from the kitchen scene when he was cleaning up and he was trying to have a civil conversation with Ashley. Miss Uncivil. She brought up Candace and like the disagreements when all she was trying to say is, hey, I know you guys have issues, but I do want to say congratulations on the second baby and leave it at that. But instead, she would step on her corner light and go in about Candace. I'm like, you're talking to her husband. He's not saying anything to you disparaging about her, about how y'all get into it with it. Like, where do you think this is going to go? And then you get to the dinner scene, and it was like Ashley saw where he was going when I was saying that, like, he was going to make a stance of why him and Candace have an issue with Michael in the sense that, inappropriately touching how Michael has talked to all of the women and all that kind of stuff. And then you see how Ashley turns that around. And then you see Candace's initial outburst, but then Candace still reined it back in. But since Chris thought it was going to go sideways, he was trying to stop from a second thing to happen. Because I think he understands the perception on the internet and how someone needs to be a bigger person. But then I also get Candace's point of just kind of like, I'm tired. Like, I tried that essentially, in my view, she tried that last season and didn't really work. And also, regardless, like it never really seems to work, even when she's trying to be a bigger person, because people have lost their minds since all this has happened. Even though Candace has been very calm, cool, and collected, and the season's almost over. Like, you're just not having really an issue going on really between Candace and someone. But people have lost their minds now. Like, she's been going crazy the entire season when she hasn't.
That's right.
So
That's true.
I think he's trying to get her there, but you have to be, as you said, a unite front and like do that in the background.
You know what I chalked it up to? I said maybe that's just a Black culture thing. That when you're number, like, you have to have a united front, almost like it's a Black culture thing. Don't put your business out in the streets. Whatever happens in the house stays in the house, right? And again, it brings a lot of generational pain. I'm not saying this is the healthiest thing to do, but I don't know. That was just weird to me that Chris doesn't see it, because the fact that he left her at that table and all the women were like, "Where's Chris? Go get your man." Go. And like literally, and you could tell she was sitting there, but then she was like, "Let me go see." But it must have been so humiliating to have to get up from the table. But like I
But
said,
she handled it well. I will say
handled it
she
well.
handled that part well, because she didn't. You know what Tisa? She didn't cuss him out, and she didn't. She would at one
Because
point.
they
It
love
seemed like when
each other.
it seemed like when he left, she calmed down, as she told him. She said, "You know what? I actually calmed down. I started playing with the girls. I started eating my food and drinking my drink, and lower, all that stuff. And I think that triggered Ashley even more, that she wasn't that crazy. So yeah.
Well, it
Oh
made
yeah.
her
You see.
mad though. It made her mad.
But
There's
it
a funny
always
thing.
that's what I pray for sometimes, that Candace would go, girl, when you're not bothered is when they even matter. Throw those shady things, but don't go crazy, because when you got calmer, it made Ashley even more incensed.
It did. And to everybody saying, why would Ashley be jealous of
I think
Candace?
Kyra
You
just
know,
explained it beautifully. I really do.
That woman does not have
definitely.
access to that man's money.
But
Any
let me ask
woman
you,
who really
It's
can vouch
not
for
but
his
ask
about
actions
this
wouldn't
too.
having,
want to do
like,
that.
hold on,
Yeah.
guys. So it's not about having access, and it's not that. I'm just saying to everyone, it's not the point of like, why would Ashley be jealous? I get all that with the accomplishment and this and that, but y'all need to realize that money, first of all, she doesn't have access to Michael's money, but even if she did, money doesn't fix everything. Money only makes you forget shit when you first
Hmm.
get it. But
Okay.
once you get used to it, like it doesn't mean anything anymore. If the first time, like, let's just say you're like, oh, like the way people are like, oh, well, if my man was paying for this, I would turn the other cheek. What if he cheated on you? What, he flew you and your friends to Bali? Maybe that might lessen the blow. But after you've been to Bali once and he tries to pull that shit again, you're just like, get out of here. Money only works when you don't have it, and once you get used to it, it never works again. So I look at it from the fact of, the one thing that she's so jealous about is the fact that Candace is an equal in her relationship with Chris. That Candace is an equal. And she tries to say, oh, but they're broke and I have this and I have that. But at the end of the day, what does it mean? You've gotten used to the apartment. You've gotten used to this. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like projecting the way a normal person thinks, and Ashley is pure evil, but
But
I don't know.
but I was going to
No,
ask you
you're
this.
right.
So, but I was going to ask you to you this. I was going to say, now, wasn't Ashley, and I know Tisha, you do. I love when you do the research, and so do Kai. Yeah, both do research. If I'm mistaken, it isn't Ashley talking to her husband about doing her own project. I forget what project it was, but she was saying, we're going to be doing something. I'm not sure if it's movies. I think it's supposed to be movies or TV. She's supposed to be
No,
producing.
This
that
is
Michael brought that
disgusting.
up.
Don't ever order it, anyone.
Okay,
Okay.
that's a no
I'm
for me. Okay,
sorry.
thank you.
Okay.
No, Michael brought that up as like his next move, and she was against it, but in front of her family, all of a sudden she was on board with it. What the real power play was, she thought she could have control of that restaurant, and that didn't
Oh,
work out
listen,
well.
let me tell you with that restaurant.
Oh,
I know you
oh,
guys know this scene, but let me replay it for everyone. That kangaroo meat restaurant, shout out to Candace, always a legend, right? Skinny legend. And here's the funny thing. Ashley worked in the industry so long, she actually knew how to make that restaurant a success. I saw it. She knew the bar. She was having her friends come in. She knew about promoting it. She was doing this. The restaurant could have actually been successful, except for the fact Michael is not interested in Ashley having any say
yes.
or accumulating every power. And I remember this, before I knew that Ashley was pure evil. I felt sorry for her. Michael called a staff meeting in the restaurant, And if you've ever worked in a restaurant, there is a hierarchy. And once the boss lets people know that you're not shit, they'll do what you want for. He called a staff meeting and told everybody that Ashley was not in charge and this was the real manager. And if anybody has any issue, they go talk to the manager and this and that. He literally, and the thing is, this is after she built that restaurant up. Because don't forget, he said when the restaurant's success, we have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Michael is not interested in Ashley having an ounce of power at all. And what he did in the restaurant was some of the most cold-blooded shit I've ever seen and humiliating. And the way Ashley had to take, yeah.
You know what, Ashley, she lives in a marriage full of microaggressions. That's what she lives in.
You know what? You're right. She lives, but you know what? The funny thing is, though, Mel, you're onto something. You know, Ashley and her daddy issues, and I think her mom either alluded to or flat out said, "Y'all, Kaya, let me know because you probably remember that one of the reasons why her dad didn't accept her is because Ashley is black looking." I mean, listen, some people be like, "Oh, she looks ambiguous." Anyone that's black can be like, "Girl, Ashley's features are black, and even her hair." It's like, girl, stop playing, right? And I see you, like you're black, right? But Ashley looked too dark for her, and Ashley's dad did not accept her. And her mom alluded to the fact that one of the reasons he didn't stay with her is because he couldn't handle being in an interracial relationship. And it goes the fact that he looks like her dad, and the fact that he might hold some of the microaggressions or big aggressions that her dad holds. Maybe Ashley actually did marry her dad. You make a good point, Mel.
I mean, she already admitted that to the therapist that basically like she sees a father figure in Michael. So I'm just like, but I think we talk about like there's a power imbalance obviously in that relationship, and also you kind of see kind of like what truly holds the reins, which goes back into the money, because I think of like last season when there's like the blow up between Michael and Chris and all that kind of stuff, and you see how how Ashley could not come to Michael. They could not hold hands. What we see in this episode, Candace had been really pissed off at Chris, but she still walked up to him. They had a silent moment. They grabbed each other's hands and they walked back together. Michael had to take them out on a vacation to the Michael had to shell some money. And that's how, that Band-Aid, I guess, was healed. And they were better than ever. But in the moment of contention, they never really seemed to have like a true loving moment of coming back together. Because I even remember when he kicked her out and he still was talking about her mom. And she left the night before and then came back because she realized, I can't live in the sublease anymore. I'm going to go back to the penthouse or wherever they were living. All she gave her was roses. There was no true, like, I apologize for saying this was my home. It's true.
Herself. I don't want to hear it. She ordered those roses for herself.
Like for me personally, if someone like if you have the access to the money and you are at least somewhat equal to your relationship, you're like, hey, that really hurt me that you said that this is your home. Can we please? I know you enjoy living in a condo or in an apartment kind of building. Can we please find a place that we can go ahead and venture in together? But instead, you are still there when you're too young. Like the home thing really gets me. The whole thing is like the clear sign of like, like. The babies are there, but I'm still gonna live my life the way I want to. And we also know that they were never truly in an open relationship, because if that was the case, she would have, the way that Ashley is quote unquote so open, it would have not taken several cheating scandals and sexual assault scandals for her to admit that they've had threesomes and that they have had an open relationship before. It's because truly it was not in her.
Well, sorry to interrupt, but when you say open relationship, was it open relationship, or do y'all think that she was using the relationship as a way to shame Michael from stopping to cheat? Because honestly, I feel like if those cameras weren't there, remember when the family was sitting there looking at Michael like this, and Michael was looking like, oh my God, okay, fine, I won't cheat on her anymore. Like literally, y'all remember that scene. And honestly, it made me think that prior to these cameras, Michael was just doing the fuck he wanted. And he would come in and you would fuss with him and this and that. And now that you have the cameras, it's not that you're embarrassed. You're using this as a tool to shame him into keeping his self in his pants. Ugh. But anyway, go on. Sorry.
For me, I guess that point, I think you're right. But I guess but my thing is she waited until, because the power could have been like, because you make an interesting point, but I guess I thought it was weird that like this kept happening, and essentially he was being labeled as cheating, and you kept saying everything was fine, and it wasn't until like season 4 when you were kind of like, oh, we've had threesomes, we've been like, open before, and da 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 da.
Oh,
And I
okay.
think you could
I
have,
got you, girl. When we were all just like, really? Y'all been having
yeah,
threesomes at David Guetta concert? Shut up, Ashley. I was just at that
and
David Guetta concert. I was just like, girl, you ain't got to lie to kick it. Like, just say, like, it's not an open relationship. It's he can cheat in peace. Ashley has the relationship of like a basketball wife.
Mm.
Only you're dating a leprosy patient, but it's a basketball wife situation. You know what I'm saying? It's like you
Leprosy. Oh gosh.
yeah, it
exactly.
really bothered me that she called Candace uncivilized, and I'm just kind of like, and like, we had a
Listen,
discussion about you using the word ferocious before, which I know that Wendy didn't have like an adequate comeback. Which no, it was the fact that they stuck on aggressive when really the word was ferocious. Ferocious has never been really used towards humans like that, and she called Wendy ferocious. But they went
see,
ahead and went with aggressive, and then Wendy didn't really have like a stance on that, which I feel like you could still be offended by that comment and the fact that it wasn't fitting to the situation and not really know how, and still working through a way to like move past it or figure out what kind of wording to use, whatever. Which is why I don't give that Robin doesn't know her privilege, because Robin is the same one who understands. She's like, oh, but I do understand that like certain words towards darker skinned women are taken a different way. So she knows. She knows. She's one of the light skinned women who actually spoke up when they tried to have a colorism conversation last season. But yeah,
yeah. But here's the
Ashley's
thing.
playing the games.
But here's the thing. Why I'm giving Robin and Giselle not a pass. Again, they need to check their behavior and they need to educate themselves. But Ashley says ferocious, aggressive, hostile, acting like a wild animal. She has a glint in her eye that I'm like, girl, if you were white, I would call you racist right now. There's a glint in her eye when she says it, that she knows what she's doing. She knows that Candace and Wendy know what she's doing and what she's calling them, but they can't say anything. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Ashley is a cruel person. And let me just actually, because I actually was so taken aback, I took notes on her cruelty because that's how I was just like, you're not ish, right? Um, it's like, and it just, it astounds me at the table that people watched that scene and did not say, okay, fine. And even if you don't like the word colorism and you don't understand what it means or you don't like it, the fact that you cannot see that there are two different levels of treatment. How was Ashley saying, bitch, you always halfway stupid, blah, blah, blah. She tried everything. She calls the record. She's the one that embarrassed. She was screaming across the table. She was doing everything she could. The minute Candace engaged, and the thing is, Candace didn't even raise her voice until Chris tried to get her to get up and leave. And that's when Candace was like, I am fine, right? But prior to that, Candace wasn't even really yelling or going in on her. But yet everybody blamed Candace for ruining the meal. Everybody claimed Candace for getting rowdy. Everybody act like Candace was just like going crazy. And that's what's like, even if you don't acknowledge colorism, can you acknowledge something was amiss? Something wasn't adding up. And the fact that nobody is, I'm just like, y'all ain't shit. Y'all ain't seeing heaven. Nobody's seeing heaven. Just like the people that did not watch my makeup a mess. My makeup a mess is up, and
I
obviously
watched it.
watch it. Oh, you did.
You know what, girl?
I
Listen,
watched it.
me too. Listen, you know what? I watched it so much because you came in with pretty face, regular, and then you put your blue on and da 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 da
The
da.
purple. See,
Yeah.
we watched. We watched.
Oh, but
No,
I
I
like it
know,
was
and
it,
that's all.
but it was cute when you put the title to say, "Hey, I'm just BSing here. Don't pay attention to what I'm saying." Oh, girl, it was good.
Yes, y'all. Thank you so much for it. All you guys watching it, I do have makeup messes when I talk about gossip. Why I do my makeup, but it's a fun time. And also, let me just take this moment to say, y'all, if you like this discussion, I do have a channel membership. It is $4.99. What do you get for joining? You get a show. No, I'm just joking. What do
Mm-mm,
you get for
mm-mm.
joining? You get OnlyFans, Tisa After Dark. No.
Ooh, girl, Jesus Christ,
But
honey.
listen, you get me standing there with the monologue of how I hate Ashley Dark. I'm still joking. Listen, I got tea, I got gossip, I got some new tea on Nene. What happened when she left Real Housewives? The real tea. What's going on with Mariah Huck? Listen, I got
Oh, good.
behind the
Okay.
scenes tea about Bravo, the racism lawsuits. We got some more tea on Person Simon. We got some tea on Beverly Hills, and we got some OCT. Listen, and I also have tea on some celebrities that aren't. Also, here, I also have some tea on some celebrities. Um, Hold on, guys. Talk to yourselves. This is my daddy. I gotta answer the phone. Hey, Dad.
So talk to yourself. My daddy.
It's okay. Yeah, I watch her makeup. You know what? For me, I watch so many things on YouTube. But watching Tisa is just it's just fun. You know, I think sometimes nothing is on, and you get a chance to watch what you like, whatever. And I like what she was doing with her makeup. It was great.
I just watch a lot of YouTube. I watch YouTube like TV.
You know, I do too. I mean, literally I put the YouTube on and I'm cleaning up my house and I just let it play in the background and I watch what I watch. Yeah, she's fun. I like Banana Full right there. She's fun. You know what I'll tell you too? I mean, while she's on her phone with her dad, one thing I'll say is on YouTube itself, which is rare, she is the realest, sweetest person off the camera, and just as she is here, very real, very sweet lady, and that's why I feel very comfortable coming here to talk about the Real Housewives. Plus, it's a safe place because there's not any place on YouTube that you can talk about Candace. Well, it's not any place you can talk about Candace and not have a whole craziness going behind it. So, yeah, I
Well, that
like coming
is
to pieces.
true.
Yeah,
And I did watch someone like talk real. I just like, which I do get. Sometimes I get impassioned because these are characters. We don't know them in real life, but they are imitations
But
of
you
what
know
real
what?
life looks
But you
like.
know what? I remember you from another channel, but I was going to say this. What I came over to these channels was because you're right about that. It's a TV show, but at a certain point, you don't want your sort of buzz to go off the TV show. If you enjoy the TV show, the last thing you want to do is go somewhere and watch somebody tear apart and just not even see what's going on because they're friends with Monique. I mean, I'm going to be honest about that. Like they were friends with Monique. So when I'm watching the show, I'm like, what are you watching? It was a buzzkill. So I'm searching and I found people who were sort of in my same vibration. And she's just the best. She's absolutely one of the best in this
Oh,
area.
you guys are the
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
best.
we
I
were
have a lot of
talking
facts
about you
about
while
her
he's on the
too.
phone. Now we can get back to the show.
Mel, Mel.
Tisa makes me feel safe. That's it.
Oh, thank you so much. And I have to say, let me tell you something. Mel, from the first time, let me talk about the first time I met Mel. Mel, from the first time I met you, I think you called in, of course. And I remember my bestie was like the same one that's cracking up. You crack her up. Was like, who was that? And I was just like, oh, Mel. And they're like, oh, you should have him back on. I really like him, like this, that, and I said, oh, okay. My boyfriend, who is absolutely like, he's not in YouTube. He like literally that's how I started YouTube. I was like trying to explain. Actually, it was about Ashley and them. I was trying to explain about this, and he said, "Why don't you go?" No, it was Simon and them, and he was like, "Why don't you go make a video about it?" Because he wanted me to leave him alone with this bullshit, right? He was
Mm-hmm.
trying to wait. He's like, "Why don't you go tell your friends on YouTube?" But I was just like, "Okay, whatever." But even from the first time my boyfriend heard you, he was just like, "I really who was that guy?" It's like Mel, and everybody that hears you on my panel comedy, it's like, who is that guy? Like, I really like him. I like the way his brain works. I like this. I like that. And of course, I reached out. You were nice enough to come, and it's been history ever since. I really do enjoy your energy. I love having you on. I
Thank you.
know, like what
Thank
did I
you.
say? You're my housewife historian, and I love the way we all bring. I'm about to get to your ass. We all bring a different energy, right?
Carol.
We all bring a different energy.
Oh.
In fact, Mel's the first person I've actually talked to that brings a very calm energy, but it's so interesting and charismatic,
But
So
you
it's
know
like
that
a
they,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I would say this too. Thank you, honey. I'm also what I guess people are learning is I'm actually very guarded and sensitive. So the fact that I offline, I'm going to tell you and be honest with you, the only person I trust on YouTube, and I've talked to many people, is Tisa. It's just hands down. I like working with other people. I like other people's channels, of course, but in my life, the only person who I like to talk to offline is her. And sometimes people might get confused by that, but that's the truth. She's very real, and I feel safe with her. And it's been a wonderful experience to communicate
oh,
on
thank
about
you.
this with her. So I
And
really
Kaya,
appreciate her.
thank you so much, Mel. We appreciate you, everybody. And you know what? I'd like to say I'm doing this out the kindness of my heart because I do enjoy talking to you. I enjoy your energy. I can't wait till you start your channel. But honestly, Mel, you
I'm
bring so much
working
to
on
the
it.
channel.
She
You bring so
encourages
much
me,
to the
so I'm working
channel.
on it.
Yes, and also Kaya, you are the newbie, but you are coming in strong. You're
Yes,
another
she
one
is.
that my two BFFs are like, "What's that girl's name? What's that girl's name?"
Hmm.
Blah 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 blah. Right? And like even I think it was on the panel when you were Mariam was on the panel, and you were like, Miriam, respectfully, blah, 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 blah,
Uh-oh.
blah, right? And no, but I love the fact that like you have, because you know I love Mary. I love people with strong opinions. All of you guys have such strong opinions. But Kaya, your memory, you are literally a housewife historian,
Yeah.
and you go hard. And even when we don't agree, it's like, okay, you know, it's cool. Keep it moving, right? And keep going. So I really do enjoy you guys, this panel. You guys bring so much up. Kai, we waiting for your YouTube channel too. But let's Mel, you got up next. You're next. But I will say that like back to why I hate Ashley Darby. Ashley sucks. She's the worst. And again, Michael, and you know what also? I think at the end of I think that they went on another trip at the end of the season. And I can say, oh yeah, you guys sign up for my thing. It's gonna be gossip. Sign up for the membership. It's $4.99. It's gonna be good. There's already a video up, and we're doing another live stream on Friday. It's gonna be a nice closed group, so you can come on. We can see your face. We can just do audio. I have time to really read the questions and talk. And you guys can even message me like, hey, can you find out about this person, that person? I can bring you guys some tea because I actually know more people than you guys think. I do. And I know more people's dirt than you guys think, but we'll do a few blind items. I will say this though, right? I will say this. I think that Michael somehow found a way to embarrass Ashley again because I noticed that every time he embarrasses the dog mess out of her, they leave for the Bahamas the next day. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
That's what I was saying earlier. Yep.
Oh my
Every
gosh.
time.
But you know what? So this is crazy. So, ladies, this is what I want to ask you. The thing is, and I'm really going to be serious with Ashley. I enjoyed her the first season. The biggest tweak, if I was to talk to the lady in person, I would say Ashley. For real, like when you're hurt by something, don't smile about it. She gives me sociopath vibes, not as a bad person, but she just doesn't know how to. I feel personally that she has been hurt by a lot of times with the ladies on the show, and maybe by her husband, but she will smile and she will invoke the fact that he's rich, and that will be the band-aid for her life. I want her to be real one time. I want her to sit there and say, "You've hurt me." Last couple of years ago, when the girls were pushing Candace to apologize for her, she said, "What you said didn't even bother me." But why is she apologizing? So I want her to really sit there and say, "You hurt me." She never does that, and that's the biggest thing that annoys me. So this is the thing. So when she is angry, as a viewer, I'll be like, "Okay, I get it. I can see. I can feel you." I never feel her. I never connect with her because she's always fake to me, and she never really shows her true emotions. Maybe I don't know what that's about, but that really throws me off. And Giselle does that too. As a viewer, I would hope that Giselle and Ashley get real. I think, I would say this, Giselle, she was mad and she couldn't hide it. She was mad the whole season because they roasted at the reunion. And that made me connect with her a little bit. But with Ashley, I'm still no connection with her because she's not real. She never connects with her emotions to me.
What? You're right. I agree. And I was actually thinking like she doesn't connect, but I think she doesn't connect because I think her only emotion is hate. And it's not just for Candace because we laugh, right? Remember what she did to Katie? Remember what she did to
Yeah.
Robin? When Robin was
Robin.
crying while
Yeah.
she choked on her food, saying, "What did I do to you?" Remember how
Mhm.
she came for Giselle? Remember how she tried to come for Karen? Ashley is a hateful person. She really honestly is. On top of thinking that she's better than most
And
black
so,
people. Yeah.
Well,
when I was going to say one last thing, I was going to say, so when I see her and I see a character like Erica on another show, as a viewer, maybe it's just my sensitivity, it makes me feel not depressed, but it makes me feel there's a dark energy there. It doesn't. I don't connect with them. Like, okay,
Yes.
there's nothing there that I'm connecting with, and it's just like I don't like watching their scenes because there's such an energy there that I fast forward if it's not to do with Candace. If she's in a scene with Michael, God help her, I don't watch those scenes. And same thing with Erica. If she's doing something with her hair or whatever, I fast forward because they are just so dark. I want them to be real. You don't have to be, yeah. So that's just it.
yeah.
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 Okay. I will say you're right about like the disconnect. Psychology brain. I did study psychology, even though it was more so neuroscience, but I did study it. It is this thing of like she understands how to project emotions to get people on her side, but there's a
Yes.
disconnect like that's not really heart centered. Erica De Niro will say how she calls her and her mom heartbreakers 2.0 whatever. It feels
Yes.
like Michael is the big fish. Michael is the big fish, but somehow some way because of the fatherly figure that she puts, because I do think she does look at him as a fatherly figure, she's fallen into this trap where, as I said, I think people give her too much credit for thinking that she's playing Michael, because in my vantage point, I'm like, he has two older kids. So all that money is not going to her.
Mm.
And also the fact is, like, the way that that man had no problem extending their prenup when she was trying to get a baby, the way he had no problem cutting off her mom. You can have a prenup, and you can say, "Oh, I get 50% of this," but that doesn't really say like I get 50% of all of your assets or I get 50% of X, Y, and Z. So I don't think I don't think that like she's playing the game that we all think she is. Those two babies might be a paycheck, but I really think like she is there for the long haul of like still him being old, decrepit, and like going on to the next or whatever. And so there's something also like disconnecting because it's just kind of like why people have an issue with your husband. Like the way in which she stands between Michael and other people is also like very much so like distance yourself and trying to understand her. Because I'm just like, we just watched your husband touch someone, and then you go say, well, he calls him daddy, so I don't know why he would be mortified. It was actually a joke between them. So the way in which she always is trying to spin a narrative and spin a story, you're just kind of like, I don't know what's true here. I don't know what's real here. So I don't want to really try to engage with it because I know that it's not like I'm not reading a true story.
Well, that's true. I remember when she said that about, I mean, he calls my husband daddy. I remember that moment, and her laugh sounded so fake and so hollow. You could tell that she had practiced it, and she was even like, oh, this is going to be a goddamn mess. That was the first time I cringed. I know she was inside, like, oh, this is so cringy. She literally does engage in a lot of behavior. I agree with you guys completely about Ashley, and I agree with you, Mel. There is a darkness there, and I know that people are like, oh, this and that, blah 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 blah. But listen, Tanya says, wow, Tisa, hateful is a bit harsh, especially since you ride so hard for Candy. Listen, somebody can be mean, somebody can be cruel, somebody can be vicious, but when I say hateful, it's a different level. I don't think that Candace is a hateful person. I think that she gets cruel when she's in her feelings. I think that she can literally cut you apart. But I don't see Candace as being hateful. Maybe hateful is not the right word for Ashley. So let me use Mel's word. There's a hollowness. There's a to Kaya. There's a disconnect between her emotions. Like
Dark energy.
it's dark energy. That's what I mean about hateful. And as mad and like crazy as Candace might get, I never sense that dark energy coming from her ever. Again, do I know her? No.
I would even take your Instagram. The Instagram is different. You can see the way that because I'm not really an Instagram person, but like this show really has me invested now all of a sudden just because I feel like it truly reflects how people interact with one another in the Black community. So that's why I think it's interesting because people want to dismiss colorism, acting like we don't have 5 light skin, light eye, and or biracial women and 2 dark skinned women who are actual, castmates and 1 friend of. So you can't tell me that like people don't understand the power dynamics in that. Like for one, and I think because people think that like, oh well, we really never had to really discuss it before. That's because we only had 1 dark skinned person, Charisse, and Charisse is no longer there. And Charisse is the reason why Potomac was a thing in the first place. Yes. And all of a sudden, somehow, some way, Giselle became the face. I find that very interesting. Even though everyone on that show is friends with Charisse, Charisse is actually really the center point, but she has been removed. Other than like, I know she didn't want to discuss her divorce, but whatever. And then, so we really haven't had a lot of, truly. Not say truly, but people of a deeper hue on the show until recently. So I feel like that's why. So that's why I feel like it's harder to truly describe what colorism we're talking about when you have people who are still like biracial but Black presenting, or like I say a quote unquote safer brown. So like there you have this discussions like, oh, that can't be possible because there's no dark skinned people, but now there is, and things are not adding up.
I agree. I just tell people, listen, it's not far-fetched. Just look at School Days, and I need to remember some other beautiful documentaries recent where young, beautiful Black woman was saying, when I go to my school as 3 years old, it breaks me your heart that the girls already know that my hair is a little more, different than your hair and that my skin, so it's happening. And listen, I'm a man born in the 1980s, and I'll be honest with you, my sisters and my cousins, they were different hues and they made fun of the one. I mean, it's just a part of the community. It's there. And I think that is not something that is shocking to me because I've seen it between my sisters and cousins and things. And again, School Days is a perfect illustration of it. They were in school. There was I don't want to use the names in the program, but they had call each other names. And we had Tisha Campbell, and then we had another group of other ladies. And I think Tisha Campbell was a Giselle, obviously. And Yeah, they sort of went in there doing this kind of thing, light skin, and calling the ladies who had natural hair, these kind of monkey, just terrible things.
Yeah.
So it exists, and it's been going on for a long time, and it's come from, not to go too dark, not to go too deep, come from slavery time. The idea that the people who presented in the house and served the food and not in the field sweating and mucking and things were the dark ones. The people in the house were the lighter ones. And in our community, that feeling there has been there for centuries.
Yeah.
I think maybe because Black people might be afraid of like owning something like colors, but like colors affects all people of color. So like let's just get that out there. I have friends of different ethnicities, some kind of stuff. It affects all of us. So, but I'm from the Black diaspora, so that's the one I can speak to closely. But we were talking about dark energy, and these people have me on Instagram now, and I don't even go on Instagram for my own self. And you can even look and scroll and see how Ashley profile looks. Like there's nothing. Like there's the children, but even then, it feels like a photo op. Candace has photos of like old photos with her friends and all that kind of stuff. Has like funny, just her in the kitchen, her and Chris like making funny voices at each other and just cooking. There's the fact that people think like Candace is so mean, but if you actually like try to follow her and she's not engaging in the show, she is always laughing, she's always singing, she is always eating, she is always drinking, and it doesn't seem forced. And I guess with Ashley, and even personally Monique, because I went on her profile too, and everything very much so is kind of nicely presented all the time.
You know what?
It feels
sorry to interrupt, but you know what the true litmus test will be? Did y'all see the preview for the next episode?
Oh,
like
I didn't get to see all
the
of
little 60-second preview they showed at the end of the show.
No, I didn't
I
see
saw a
all
little bit of it. I mean,
Okay,
it was
so
so quick.
Yeah, if you guys didn't see it, I'm just gonna zoom into a thing. It was going this and that. They looked like they were starting to have fun again. So clearly, like the dinner went okay. But on the bus ride home, G was giving it to Ashley.
Yeah, which is
Giving it to him.
weird.
And Ashley got smart with him because again, I was with the way she was talking to G, I was like, you think you're better than Black people. When she's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And G was like, yeah, and that's why I'm saying it to your face. And Mia was just sitting there. Let me ask you guys a question. And I'm waiting to see next week. Ashley is going to do something that is going to get G to. And here's the thing: G strikes me as very reasonable, and he strikes me as very I'm not in it. Even the way he was able to remove himself from the Candace
he was
Mia
not there at all.
situation, he stood by his
Not there
wife.
at
He
all.
said, "Listen, I want to stay, but if my wife says we gotta go, we gotta go. That's the end of the day. So if you want her to stay, y'all go talk to her." And everybody rallied around Mia, like, no, Mia, stay, right? As they should have, because honestly, I say that shit about Candace, but I would have been Wendy in that situation. Wendy was Candace's girl, so she didn't throw her under the bus, but her actions and the way she was trying to soothe Mia let me know that Wendy did think that Candace went too far, but you're not going to call out your friend. You're just going to try to fix the situation,
Yeah, that's true.
But Candace was like, but back to what happened. Mia got over it, this and that, and even on the bus, G was like bumping hands with Candace, like that's right, blah blah blah. So G's able. The fact that he got into the mud with Ashley, it made me think, how did Ashley disrespect him? And I want to see if Ashley did disrespect G or Mia. Let's see the way everybody acts next week because
right.
no, but
Right.
but you know the funny thing is Ashley knows who to pick on too. But let's see if she disrespects Mia and how quick she tries to apologize and move forward from that. Because remember when she tried that shit treating Katie like she was Candace and the whole table went in on her? How dare you, Ashley? I apologize. And Ashley looked shocked and like read the table real quick and then was like, Katie, I want to apologize the next day. Ashley knows who to pick on, knows who to pick on.
That's true. I mean, you're right. That's true. That at first I want to go back a little bit. Mr. G, I forgot about him too. He was very funny to me because his commentary with the guys was interesting, and also, you know what I'm going to say? He reminds me maybe of a distant uncle. I know this man. I know who this kind of man is, and he's about drinking. He's about working hard, and when he's around his wife, he like to have a good time. And then we missed it. We didn't talk about the scene when he did the tongue, the infamous tongue thing with Karen. That was hysterical.
Yeah.
Not what he did, but her reaction. And he just wasn't. He just was his thing. But yeah, so obviously that chill is off when he's dealing with Ashley. For me personally, listen, like I said, I'm a gay Black man. I don't really talk to women in any kind of way except for as queens, and me and T's talk all the time. So, I just love women and respect women. So I don't know what, like you said, what could have gone on between the two of them that would have developed to a point where he would, get to a place with her. But
Well, I'm
I'm
waiting to
excited to
see.
see.
Listen, I'm waiting to see. I'm withholding judgment because maybe he stepped out of line. I don't know. But I will say now, y'all swear I be on the Ashley, well, Candace love train, and I do love my little candy
I
pears.
love it too, honey. That's why I love
I
this channel.
yes, but here's the thing: I will revise my opinion of people. Just like when I started, I said, "Listen, all right, Mia, you did your bullshit. I saw what you were doing, but you kept it moving. It was resolved, and it was like whatever." And I said, "Okay, Mia understands the assignment. I'll back it up." Fine, maybe I was a bit too harsh for her, and I already said last week that Candace did go too far, right? But let's not get into that, right? But I will say also with G, I had a very low opinion of G from what I saw because he was getting really raunchy and this and that. And I'll tell you with myself, it's like I don't like people getting raunchy around me. I don't know how to describe it. People can say jokes, they can do whatever. It's not like I'm a prude. I just find it disgusting if I have to imagine you having sex and I don't want to. It's like, you just
Hmm.
I don't know.
Well,
I just like, ew, like, you're gross. Will you shut up? It's like somebody literally the same way as somebody starts making poop jokes and fart jokes. And I'm like, can you stop? Stop this shit, right? So, on that aspect, maybe I judged him too harshly because I really did respect the way he tried his best to bridge the gap with Candace. And I also respected the way that when Ashley tried to pile on Candace at the table, G made sure he stayed out of it and that he pulled Candace out. I mean, he pulled Mia out of it too. So on that, it's like okay. I love the fact that G was like, yeah, Chris, that had nothing to do with us. I don't know. That was grown ass man shit. So I will say, it's
Yeah.
like okay, G. That's what I'm trying to say. G seems like he has a good heart, right? He
yeah,
seems like you said, an uncle.
he
Too
just
much,
gave
like
me
the party.
small Michael vibes early, and not in the sense of being a sexual predator, but in the sense of just like the way that their marriage seems to be set up or whatever. But obviously, that was one episode. We will see how this turns out. Because I even
Yes.
said, like, it gave me small Michael's vibes. And I just don't want it to turn out of, like, Michael, that was his one starting moment. And then Michael kind of kept going, kept going, kept going. So obviously, we can see if that, if that pattern goes
Yeah.
there or not.
And I can't
But,
wait.
it didn't seem like it because Michael has very much so entered the chat with Candace and Chris. And G is like, with Chris, like, them two, they can go at it. Me and you are fine, bro. And he was even making jokes with Candace along the way to the dinner. So that already is like a different outlook versus the Michael who calls people criminals and like trash and all this kind of stuff when you are approaching them with your BS. Okay.
Yeah.
Interject this, you guys. And Mel, start off this answer, and then Kaya, of course, jump in. Do you guys find it very interesting that one, Bravo had Nicki Minaj host the
Oh
reunion
gosh, I
when
know.
she is facing this lawsuit? Well, hold on, there's three parts. But then the fact that Bravo was fine with Kim Behrman, and that time she said, tell me how safe you feel. I'm brave sitting on the stage with all these black women, and Andy's like, yes, you are. And the fact that like Michael Darby exists on Potomac, it seems like sometimes Bravo to me, and I might be wrong, but I'm beginning to see a pattern that they are very comfortable with letting problematic people exist in an all black cast. There's always one couple that is not black that's very problematic, that's allowed to be problematic in the Bravo universe. I mean, maybe I'm imagining that, but like Ashley, Darby, and Michael are the problematic. They are the Kim and Croy saying things that you're just like, this sounds racist, but do you really have racist people? I don't know. There's just something in the vibe about the way Bravo treats its all black cast that it's hard to put my finger on, but is there. And I don't understand why they can't kind of get that out of there. What do y'all think about that?
Hmm. Well, I'll just say maybe the producers or the network feel like that's I'm not a producer and you know more about that world than I do, but maybe they feel like that's an ingredient, an unhealthy ingredient that they need to have on these kind of programs of sort of that kind of that energy that you're talking about, that sort of uncomfortable, um, terrible energy, and maybe that's why it happens the way it does until the cast literally pushes it out. The girls went against Kim for rightly so, and she was sort of exited the show, and maybe that's what we need in Potomac for the cast to unite. But I think that because Giselle and Robin and so many other people are so close with Ashley, I'm not sure that's going to happen anytime soon. They like her. They love her.
Yeah, they like her, they love her, but honestly, I think that if Ashley was white, they would have gotten Michael and her the hell out of there a long time ago. I think that's the only thing saving Ashley right
If she was white,
I
if
wish
she
we
was
would be.
white, because
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
know,
interesting because
because they wouldn't have mercy. If Ashley was white, like Kim and Croy, and Michael was doing all this shit and talking to the girls like that, and Ashley was co-signing, the cast would have rallied around and said, "Get their racist ass out of here." I 100%
okay,
believe that.
you're talking about the cast. Okay,
No, 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 no. I think,
okay.
yeah.
I do get what you're saying with like with the black cast because I think of like the way that like Kelly Dodd was like very much like a
Oh
tumultuous
God.
experience on Real Housewives of OC, and then when I think she was not for the Vaseline and like very very hard. I mean, people know we know that Bravo sluts. There are people who are Trump supporters and all that kind of stuff, but she was very much so outspoken about it and all that kind of stuff and her thoughts and opinions against Brahman, like the Real Housewives who like decided came out that she was lesbian, all that kind of stuff. They swiftly when all that accumulated, they're like, okay, you gotta go. So I do find it interesting that like they allowed someone of Nicki Minaj to come in at this moment in time, and that Michael was still there, and and so I do question kind of like why do we allow these characters on this show
Mhm.
on the black cast. I don't know because it's interesting also because I was thinking about because how I said that Ashley quickly turned that conversation back around to talking about Mia and Monique when Chris was about to start really talking about his issues with Michael, and part of that is the sexual, assault allegations and all that kind of stuff that's happened. So I do think that it's interesting that you're bringing someone whose partner is also going through that situation. So can Candace really talk about Michael at the reunion like that? Can she really go at Ashley the way she would
But
like
she
to?
can't. Every time they do, they like shut her down. I mean, listen, I don't know. Maybe Andy. Listen, Ashley is very, very good at like I don't know. I don't know if it's her hair. I don't know if it's her face. Maybe because her face is shaped like a baby's. You know how babies like have huge foreheads, big eyes, but they're cute, right? I think like literally there's something in Ashley that people the way they look at her, they let her skate by and Ashley plays into it, right? And I don't know what it is, but then again, you know what, Kaya, you already said it. She's very good at the emotional aspect. She's very, very good at like giving people the emotion that they need. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah, Kaya, you hit it on the head with what the game she plays, and she's super, super good at it. So yeah,
Yeah, but
listen, I
we do see
think
that Candace gets her out of it.
well, Candace does. So there's somebody that made a point that says people don't know hate until they really see it or experience it. This show isn't it. Um, I mean, I agree with you, but I've seen hate enough to see it in somebody's eyes. And those looks actually be throwing, it's no, like, it's definitely not projection. I've seen those looks. I've seen people look at me like that. I've seen people look at people I love like that. No, I can see, listen, we agree to disagree. I just know that somebody with like Ashley or with Ashley's energy or Ashley's thoughts or the words Ashley chooses would not be around me and my family. I wouldn't say I would punch her in the face because I'm too old for that shit. I'm not a fighter anymore. This is how I make my money. I don't want black. Like literally, I'm not gonna be like. I am gonna say that I would keep that dark energy away from me, and it bothers me when I see it come on my TV. There is something off with. We definitely know there's something off with Michael. So, I mean, there we go. Right? There's something off. There is something off with Golem with Leopard. Okay, so you guys, let's do this. Listen, Mel, start off. Let me know any other highlights you wanted to talk about, and then let's rate this episode, and then we'll do the Ukiah, and then I'll close it out.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give this episode a 7.5. I'm going to say that it was good. It was uncomfortable, but I guess that makes good TV because some scenes were uncomfortable. But there were some moments in it for me that was a G, I will say, in Karen's interaction, as cringeworthy as it was. Her confessional was finally funny again. The one thing you can't sleep on Karen, she gives me funny confessionals, and she talked about teabags, some other things. So there was some funny things with Miss Karen. She was the one that saved.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Ray. I'm sorry. Karen's been married for how many years? Girl, stop it. Stop it.
yeah.
There hasn't
She's
been
like,
an orifice in her body that Ray has not explored. But go on.
oh
I'm sorry.
gosh.
I'm sorry. Go on. Go
No,
on.
but anyway, so yeah, so Karen for me was the light. And so she was my highlight. She was my MVP this episode because she made me
Mhm.
just laugh and I had good times with her. Her reactions to other people, even the fight, just some of the things she was saying was giving me good things. So I was liking about that. And so I give this episode 7.5. And then Chris, you know what? You're right. You know, him and Candace have a beautiful relationship just at the end of the day. And I think that it's a relationship for based on equals. And you know, it was nice to see them together, even though it was a really intense moment. But yeah, it was a good episode, 7.5.
Okay. And Kai, what you got?
Well, I will also give it a 7.5. I see, yeah, some highlights were like the whole like sex slang education for Karen. I think that was funny. That was funny. Um, I I think this episode is interesting in the sense that I feel like I saw the game because I do think there's like a game of like, okay, which Monique didn't help, but okay, let's get Monique off the show. Okay, let's get Candace off the show, and I feel like I see
Mhm.
the game that people are playing, and so I just wish Candace needs to get a game plan with Chris. I think Chris is trying to get there, but he just doesn't know how to fully facilitate that conversation.
Yeah.
And it needs to be done not in front of a camera. So that was my only thing. G was interesting with his also sexual education slang and the car ride over. And I truly like this episode also showed me again why I Ashley does not from the beginning when the girls came in and she was talking about the fight to the end when she's talking about the other fight that she didn't even see for herself that she watched on TV like the rest of us. I'm just like, I cannot please let her be a friend of, or like honestly, I want her off the show, but whatever, or at least a friend of, because this is towards the end of the season, and nothing is going on there, and I do not want another like cheating or like sexual assault or whatever situation happening. I just don't. But I have some good laughs.
Yeah, definitely. So listen, I want to address everybody in the chat respectfully, right? Respectfully. About everybody being like, hate's a harsh word. Hate's a harsh word. Listen up, y'all. Do I know Ashley personally? No. Do I hate the colorist bullshit she's coming in? Absolutely. You can hate robbers and rapists and muggers all you want. And I'm telling anybody on my channel, I have seen the destruction that colorism does. I've seen the destruction that allowing colorism to fester, and I hate it. I will look at someone being racist and say, I hate what they are doing. Y'all can say it's a strong word. I've seen the damage and I know how insidious it is. And it's every time I see it, the same way every time I see racism, whether it's against a black person or Asian or whatever, every time I see misogyny, every time I see sexism, but definitely racism and definitely colorism. Y'all can drag me if you want and be like, hate's a hard word. Hate somebody that really, no, because it's the same shit. And that shit is generational. The same way someone getting beat up that energy will transfer into the child and transfer it. Yeah, that shit also poisons the family well when it comes to colorism. You guys, again, just because something is not a crime against humanity and someone doesn't leave with the black eye does not mean that it is something that should not be looked at as absolute darkness, should be called out, and should be let know for anybody else that has these dumbass thoughts in the back of their head that because that they're too chicken to say, but they do it in passive aggressive ways. No, this behavior is unacceptable. I feel strongly about colorism. It's like somebody being like, well, everybody can agree to disagree when it was a conversation about racism. And I was like, no, if you are arguing my humanity, we are not agreeing to disagree. If we are arguing somebody else's humanity, hate is not too harsh a word. For God's sakes, there has to be a barrier. And I know I'm always on this thing talking shit, but look, you guys, there has to be a barrier in this world against colorism, racism. Like, we can't play this like wishy-washy thing. So did I say we need to go and like get some torches and go? No. Did I say we need to hurt? No. What I am saying is there is actual good and there is evil. And I've seen what Ashley, I see it in their eyes and I see what Ashley is doing, and it is very, very detrimental, and it's very, very, and it's also gaslighting people that actually suffer from it. You know, it's gaslighting people, and I know that nobody's doing it on purpose, but I'm just trying to let you guys know these things have real life consequences. And I look at colorism the same way I would look at somebody as hitting their wife or doing something else equally as horrible. It's all the same problematic, and that's it. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. I'll be back to talking trash right after we get off to this live. But you guys, I'm just saying that's the way I feel about colorism, and I don't care what y'all got to say. I'm always going to feel that way. But I do welcome the discourse. I do welcome the discourse because I like the opportunity to be like, you guys are wrong. No, I'm just joking. I do welcome the discourse. I do. But you guys, that's why I say I hate this, because I see the effect the same way I could say I hate this if I saw somebody being racist on TV. It's not cute. It's not funny. And it's not something I just shake my head at and turn the thing, because I know that it's insidious. And it's also by seeing it on TV, teaching people that it's okay to do that. Teaching people it's okay to say that. And again, not the people that are innocent that didn't know that you explained, but teaching those people that literally want to hide in the shadows and be evil. It's teaching them ways to do it. Anyway, let me get off my soapbox. I give this episode a 6.5, only because I don't know, I feel like this Bravo recipe of starting off strong and then getting kind of in the middle and then going strong again. And then we got to wait till the last episode. It's like the roller coasters has too many highs and lows. I would like them to like give me a little bit more. Like, can we start the bullshit like 40 minutes into the episode? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, give me a little bit more. You know, and I love it, but just give me a little bit more. Give me a little bit more. So if they could just give me more of the drama, 20 minutes filler, 25 minutes filler, 35 minutes drama, I think I would really like that, So yeah. Yeah, so that's my thing. You guys, listen, thank you so much, right? Wait, hold on. Let's go through and see if anybody says colorism is a scourge. Goes both ways. Tanya, there's not enough time. I'm not. Y'all, literally, when I read your message, Tanya, I heard Youngbloods, they calling me to come back to the streets. I literally was like, no, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to be Candace and eat my oysters and mind my business, right? And Kaya and Mel are going to be the new improved Chris and sit down with me and just drink our drinks and eat our food, right?
Amen, sister. Oh,
Yeah,
Lord.
we're just going to do that. But listen, we can agree to disagree 100%, but I will always be up in this for what you guys know. Y'all can message me, you can do whatever. It's not going to change. But that said, I appreciate you guys showing. Thank you. We are going to be here next Sunday, 9:30 p.m. Same time, same place. Kaya will be with us. Mel will be with us. Make sure you follow Mel on Instagram and Kaya. They're going to drop. Well, I'm going to put you guys. I'll put your Instagram in. Just give me a second. But you guys can also message them in the comments and ask for the Insta, and I'll drop it in the comment section too. And also, what can I say? You guys, thank you so much for joining for the Potomac Reviews. We appreciate it. Sign up for my memberships. New things coming soon. Oh, and also, we're going to be doing Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Kaya, you're more than welcome to join us. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Give me that reunion.
Yes, we're doing it Wednesday at 9:30, and then the reunion. Woo! We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see. Okay? Talk to you later, guys.